All right, today's third review is going to be of Fast X, or Fast 10, I suppose, with the next part, Fast Forever, or at least that's what it's being named now, coming out in 2028, so a couple years from now, and hopefully that is still the date. I don't know if they've begun filming it yet, but they probably will start now because I believe Jumanji 3 is done, so hopefully they can start working on that project because yeah, they're not getting any younger, right? Like they're all getting up there in age, so they need to get the finale done, right? And we need to see it in all of its glory because I've been enjoying these movies. Like just the way they try to outdo the next one is just it's just been good. It's just been good to watch. And I guess the first one is actually coming back out into theaters. I'm not entirely sure when. I believe sometime in August, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that for sure because I can't quite remember. But I gave this movie a 9 out of 10. I thought it had the best written villain so far that we've got with Jason Momoa, and probably, I don't want to say the best soundtrack, but one of the best soundtracks for a Fast movie, for sure. So we'll go over the cast list first because it was quite a big cast. So Dominic Toretto, or sorry, so Vin Diesel as Dominic Toretto, my bad. Michelle Rodriguez as Letty, Jason Statham as Deckard Shaw. I had to actually go back and look that up because they just had him as Shaw. I don't know why. Um, Jordana Brewster as Mia, Tyrese Gibson as Roman, Ludacris or Chris Bridges as Tej, Natalia, Emmanuel, sorry, played Ramsey. Charlize Theron played Cypher. John Cena who played Jacob. Sung Kang played Han. Helen Mirren played Queenie. Brie Larson played Tess. Scott Eastwood played Little Nobody. Jason Momoa played Dante. Ellen Richardson played Ames. Daniela Melchior, I believe, played Isabel. Leo Abello Pera played Little Brian. Jacqueline D. Almeida played Hernan Reyes. Paul Walker as Brian O'Connor. Of course, that was just like archival footage from the other movie to connect these two stories. Gail Godot played Giselle, who we find out is still alive at the end of the movie. I'm interested as to how they're going to make that work. And then Dwayne Johnson as Hobbs. So he is returning for the final movie, which is exciting. I have enjoyed him. I have enjoyed Dwayne in this series ever since he came in. He's kind of just added something to these movies. I don't really know what it is. Just like, I guess the action is just a little bit more like adrenaline filled with him in it, I suppose. But again, it's one of these movies where I think a lot of the people want like just a typical street racing movie like the first one. But then I kind of remind people, like they still stole stuff in the first movie. Now I know it wasn't like a big huge job like they've got now, but it was kind of opening for that story, I think, a little bit to be there, as well as the racing part of it. Now maybe they will do that again for the finale, like kind of bring it around full circle, maybe. Like maybe they'll do the job and then after it'll kind of show them like going back to like maybe retirement sort of thing from their work, and then yeah, I guess we'll see, because at the end of this movie it's going to be a little intense to see how Dom and Little B make it out of this situation. So we first start out 10 years ago in Rio de Janeiro, where Dom and the crew will steal a safe from Hernan Reyes. And of course we know, I can't remember whether that was it 5 or 6 where they did that. It must have been 5. I guess that would make sense. I think it was 5 anyway. Yeah, because what was 6? It's so hard to remember all of them in order. Anyhow, I believe it was number 5. No, was it? I'm trying to think because I think 5 was the first one with The Rock in it, where he was hunting them down. It must have been that one. It must have been number 5, I believe. Don't quote me on that because it's been a while since I've seen them. But so then we go to Los Angeles present day, where Dom is teaching his son to drive. Now, he's not just any regular driving, it's like drifting lessons at this point. So clearly his son has been behind the wheel for quite a while, and he's been teaching him, obviously, all the ins and outs of cars and stuff. Like, he's raising him to be, like, better than him, right? Like, obviously. That's kind of like what he says. You know, you want to pass it down each generation better than the last, sort of thing, right? And that's what fatherhood is really all about. So Roman gets called to be the leader of this job to steal a computer chip. Um, Now, shortly after this, Cypher shows up at Dom's doorstep, telling him she met the devil, uh, coming to her door and letting himself in. Now, the man claims when he's in Cypher's building that he wants to make Dom suffer. Then he ends up turning all of Cypher's men on her by like holding, uh, I think all of their families hostage basically, except for one guy who he just kills on the spot because I guess that one particular man had nothing really to offer, so he just ends his life. I guess also to kind of like show that, you know, he's serious about what he's saying at the same time too. So Dom and Letty do discover that the mission that Roman is, or that the mission in Rome is a setup. So now they have to travel to Rome to try to save Ramsey, Tej, Han, and Roman. So at this point, it's things are getting way out of hand. Of course, this mystery man that we don't know his name yet at this point is there and trying to obviously be one step ahead of them. So he ends up locking Ramsey and Tej in the truck, and they discover that there's a bomb in the back of the truck now. It's not a computer chip. So I guess Roman's intel, or Tej's intel, really, might have been a little bit off the mark. Obviously, they were being set up, right? So the intel's not going to be correct. The agency wasn't, like, setting up this mission. It was all this mystery man. So they discover, that there's a bomb aboard the truck instead of the computer chip. Now the mystery man plans on blowing up the Vatican at this point. So Letty goes after the mystery man as Dom attempts to stop the bomb. Now Dom is able to knock the bomb into the water, smothering some of the explosion. Not all of it. It still does quite a bit of damage, and I guess based on this mystery man has now put them on like a terrorism list. So we go to the agency HQ where now like it's global, right? Like everybody is reporting it that Dom and his crew are on a terrorist list after the incident in Rome. So the bomb still did quite a fair amount of damage. Now I'm not sure how much damage it did to the actual Vatican, but it was still close enough that obviously these guys are going to be on this list. So Ames puts all the group's missions together, saying that they are criminals, and says that Rome was just a matter of time. Like, what they did in Rome was going to happen eventually, just based on, the life they've led, I guess. Now, Tess believes, obviously, that they are good people, and all of these missions were created by her father, right? So they weren't really doing any actual criminal activity. It was all for the mission. That's what she believes. So she believes that what Ames is doing is wrong to, like, try and track down all of them to bring them in, sort of thing. Like, she doesn't think that that's right. Now, still in Rome, Queenie tells Dom that the agency has taken Letty. So, obviously now his only mission is to get her back, right? So, it appears that Ames is using the God's Eye to track Dom and his team down, but Tess has somehow taken it offline. And so that's when Ames decides to go for Dom's sister and his son, because if he can't get Dom, he's going to try to get Dom there at any means necessary, right? Because that's his main target. Now, Dom does send his brother Jacob to save Little B and Mia before the agency can get to them too, right? So then we go to Naples, where Tess meets with Dom, with Mr. Nobody missing, obviously. So he was trying to set up a meeting with Mr. Nobody, but it seems Mr. Nobody at this point is a ghost. So obviously we're not going to see him in this movie at all. Um, and uh, and she's trying to buy Dom some time, I guess. Why did I write it like that? Tess meets with Dom with Mr. Nobody missing, trying to buy him some time. Uh, so, in their discussion, whatever, I'm not even going to try to decipher that now. I guess, yeah, she was trying to buy Dom some time, obviously. So Tess tells Dom that Rio came up in her search, obviously, because she was searching a lot of it, bringing up Herman Reyes, telling Dom he has a son, Dante. So now we know that the mystery man in Rome was Dante. Um, so Dom, I believe, at this point, uh, so Tess then tells Dom Letty is being held in a black site prison with no way to get her out. So then we go to London, where Tej, Roman, Han, and Ramsey have landed. And of course, Ramsey's not very happy about that. She's like, oh, great, the one place with the most security cameras in the world, and this is where you've taken us in some sort of crate. We also, at the same time, are at the agency black site in an undisclosed location where Tess meets with Letty, stabbing her in order to get her out of the cell. So, yeah, she has to get her out of there somehow, right? So that eventually Letty can make some sort of escape, or Dom can at least somehow come and save her. So Dom arrives back in Brazil and finally meets Dante face to face. Dante challenges Dom to a race. If Dom wins, he can take Dante in. That was Dante's whole spiel there. Now, Dante has set up something on the bottom of both of the other racers' cars and, lures Dom in to try to save one of them, right? So Dom knew there was some sort of danger. I don't think he knew exactly what it was, obviously, but he knew there was something going on, right? At that point. So Dante leaves him with a choice. Now, he does end up saving the girl. And then he ends up getting away again, right? Like Dante's just like, I win, like I got away just based on all the chaos I've caused. I'm just going to keep causing you more suffering like this. Now Letty discovers that Cypher is in the black site with her when she's brought into the room to be healed or whatever from the stab wound. Now back in London, Tej discovers that all of their money has been stolen, obviously by Dante. So it was Dom had chosen to save Elena's sister, and Elena was the one that was killed by Cypher in one of the earlier movies. I believe it was 8, if I'm not mistaken. So he saves Elena's sister, Isabel. Now, Isabel tells Dom that she still has Elena's files on the Reyes family. So now he can kind of play the game with Dante, obviously. So back in London again, Han tells Tej, Roman, and Ramsey he knows who they can meet for weapons, which leads them to Deckard Shaw. Now, if we remember correctly, Deckard Shaw was the one that thought that he had killed Han back in Japan. So, obviously, when he shows up at his doorstep, they get into a pretty serious altercation. And then, obviously, all these agency members show up, and it leads to Ramsey discovering that anybody who has helped them in the past is a target now of the agency or of Dante. I guess of Dante, right? But the agency guys still show up there because obviously they're after all of the crew, right? So Dom does go back to the police station in Rio to find Dante knows everything about him and his team. Like he has like this weird shrine inside the police station. So Ames eventually catches Dom and brings him in, but not without, obviously some stuff happening on the bridge. Like Dante set up this whole altercation on the bridge between all of them. So Letty discovers the black site is in Antarctica after her and Cypher have this like giant fist fight, and she sends Letty up to kind of show her exactly where they are. So now she kind of has to follow whatever Cypher says, like with her plan and stuff. Uh, so yes, this is when Ramsey discovers that Dante has used the money he stole to buy mercenary kill teams, targeting them and anyone who has helped them, including Queenie, which is Deckard Shaw's mother. So now Deckard is obviously going to go save his mother. So that's pretty much the only time we see Deckard Shaw in this movie. I feel like there's going to be a pretty big opening scene with him probably saving his mother or something like that along some point in the movie, right? At least in the next one. So Dante ends up taking the God's Eye from Tess in the altercation on the bridge, and that his father was killed at, and he vows that he will find or get Dom's son somehow, kind of like an eye for an eye thing. I don't think he plans, like, basically, he was trying to make Dom suffer as much as possible before killing anybody, right? That was his plan. So we go to Portugal, where Jacob gets Little B to the hideout safely as they await Dom's arrival. Now, unfortunately, the agency, or I guess it was actually Dante's men, end up showing up, and Jacob and Little B are forced to run in this giant car that Jacob has rigged with rockets. So, yeah, like he had been working on this for quite some time. It was actually funny to like watch them work together on that car and just like shoot everybody down. Um, so Ames helps bring Dom to them, obviously, so that they have like I guess kind of like a little bit more of an equal playing field, I suppose. Um, Now Jacob ends up clearing the way for Dom after Dante is able to get a hold of Little B. Dante traps Dom and Little B, uh, showing them that Ames was working for him the entire time after the plane that Tej, Roman, Han, and Ramsey is shot down, like the plane that they were in, coming in thinking that they were gonna like save the day, like save Dom for once, sort of thing, and then yeah, all the two transports, like their plane crashes, and Ames says with such a big family, like you can't save them all, sort of thing, and the plane crashes. Now, there's something in the background that I see, but I'm not sure whether it's pieces of the plane or possibly them getting away. I don't really know. I don't really know how they're going to make that work, but I feel like potentially somebody has to die in these movies again, just to make it like I don't know, like the villain wins in some sort of way, but not completely, and then Dom is able to get his revenge for taking out his friends. That just feels like maybe that's what they're trying to set up. Now, I don't think that's probably what's going to happen, but it does seem like Hobbs is being introduced as the one who pulled the trigger, right, against Hernan Reyes. So I'm a little skeptical about maybe Tej, Roman, Han, and Ramsey even being in the next film. Or, yeah, I'm not sure how they're going to escape that, but I'm sure there's some sort of way they did it. Because they were running for the cars while the plane was going down, so they did have maybe enough time. They did have maybe enough time. We'll see. Um, so of course the two transports colliding, and then Dom and Little B having to like ride down the dam and then jump into the water. And when they end up making it to safety, Dante reveals that he has rigged the entire dam to blow. Like, I'm not sure how they're even going to make it out of that, because that's like all of that water coming at them. Like, how are they going to climb out of that situation? Um, so Cypher and Letty discover that Giselle is still alive. Now, I think Cypher might have already known that and had Giselle working with her. I'm not really sure, but at least Letty's kind of got like a little bit of a middle ground between her and Cypher now, I suppose. Um, and then we get like the credit scene where a team is shown entering a large house, only to reveal that Hobbs is back, and he was the one that shot Hernan Reyes. So yes, Dante blames Dom, but I guess he also has somebody else to blame for the actual death of his father now too, right? So yeah, it's going to be interesting watching Hobbs work with Dom again, and the two of them in the final movie together. I can't wait, honestly. Like, I've enjoyed these movies. Like, this was easily the best villain, I will say, so far in all of the Fast franchise. Like, Jason Momoa just knocked this out of the park. Like, he's not really known for his villain roles, but I would say that this was a very good one. Like, it just worked for him. Like, he played it perfectly to a T. I will defend that until the end of time, I guess, with this movie, that this was the best written villain so far. That's just my opinion. Now, there might have been some people who thought there were better written villains, but as far as this one goes, it almost seems like one that they are going to have a very hard time defeating, right? Like, he seems to be always like one step ahead, and he's had years to prepare, right? Like, he's had 10 full years to kind of prep this plan. So I think it's going to be a little harder for the group now uh, to get Dante out of there. But we'll see. We'll see how the finale goes in 2028. A couple years from now, I can't wait to see it on the big screen. And I guess that's it for this review. 9 out of 10 if I didn't already say that for this movie. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye for now.